My True Buds TV infusion enthusiast, we ain't new to this. We're breaking down the best oils and butters for infusing and kind of what are some differences and what are they good for? Why would I use them in certain times and why wouldn't I? First, I just want to note that you really need a fat source for your infusion to bind to. That's why all of these are fat sources here. Like I've done a video where I did a decarbed capsule. You still need to eat it with a fat source because the cannabinoids bind to the fat source. Very crucial. Now let's kind of dive in with the differences, and let's start with what I use the most often, which is going to be a liquid coconut oil / MCT oil. Then we have our coconut oil. I recommend doing an organic, unrefined coconut oil. And this is where you can geek out. Like on this brand here, this is Best Choice, clearly organic. And I was looking online to find, and this was like the best choice in the store. They really didn't have many options. You can go online and find something that gives you a whole breakdown. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm buying oil or anything in general is, are they very transparent on their packaging? So long story short, I was looking to see, was this cold pressed or expeller pressed? The difference is expeller press is gonna involve heat and it's also gonna burn off some of the coconut flavor, which is great for some people. Some people get, a little, upset stomach from coconut oil or the unrefined stuff. I like everything to be as close to the plant as possible, even on the cannabis side too. So organic, unrefined, also known as virgin, cold pressed coconut oil is where it's at to me. So these are what I use very often, but sliding up there, probably almost more right now, is the olive oil. I did a little short the other day on sourcing the right olive oil. And again, it's still a fat source and you can just, and at the end of the day, I would rather spend a couple bucks always and get something that's higher quality, that's gonna give you a better bang for your buck down the road, especially if you're putting nice flour and concentrate in. What's another $5 to $10 on the oil or butter, especially if you're putting, $100, $200, even, a couple $100 worth of product in your infusion. I think it's always better to go the high-end route. But I want to point this out because I think it's very interesting. The single source, so even up here, this company is really transparent on their labeling, and I love that. So it says globally blend Argentina, Portugal, Chile, 10% California. This is 100% California. Sure, it may come from some different farms possibly in California, but it's still that single origin. I like to compare it to like the wine world, if you will, like DOC has that label on it. If ever you drank an Italian wine, I've seen Italian olive oils with the same thing. So I think finding that single source, finding something that's more quality, this definitely isn't the best olive oil I've had, but it is single source and it will get the job done. I've seen some really cool ones. I almost pulled the trigger on one today when I was buying these to do this video. It was like a $30 olive oil, straight from Italy. You could scan the QR code and it would take you on the trail and where it was made, the terroir, all that stuff. So I thought that was really cool, but I'm pretty stocked up. Now, last but certainly not least, the OG, man, butter. So I just have a classic butter. Like I rarely use this stuff, maybe when baking. My go-to is Kerrygold a lot of times, just because I like that Irish butter, that, again, a little extra, but it's worth it. And that being said too, let's touch on clarified butter or ghee butter. This is I just bought this ghee butter here, which is a clarified butter. And Fourth and Heart is the finest butter source from grass-fed, pasture-raised New Zealand and Australian cows. Our ghee is purest form of butter made up of 100% butter fat and is lactose free. So those are a couple big things. So what's in this butter inherently is gonna be milk solids and also some water content. What this ghee butter is it's got rid of all those milk solids and it's just that pure butter, which is gonna have a better source for the cannabis to bind to. It's gonna have a better fat solubility. Now, I like to call this the trifecta, if you will. Butter, olive oil, and coconut oil / liquid coconut oil, MCT oil. I put those all 1, 2, 3 is a trifecta. With these 3 things, you can accomplish really anything you want with your edibles and in the kitchen in general. For example, olive oil is great on your savory dishes. I'm also really enjoying it as a tincture. Obviously, this liquid MCT oil you could do in smoothies. I like it a lot as a tincture. I prefer more just doing scoops of stuff in my smoothies there. Butter is great for baked goods. And a question I've gotten recently, actually last night, that I wanted to address is, oh, I'm making an infused dish. When should I add my infused butter, coconut oil, or olive oil? My first question to them was, how hot are you heating it up till? Or the temperature you're heating it up to. If it's going anywhere over 220 degrees Fahrenheit, I would wait until later to add that cannabis infusion. That's so you can basically reduce the chance of having any burn off within that batch. And even if you're baking with it, I recommend doing it on a lower temperature and even consider doing double dose with some icing. And think about this, with the Mason Pot OG bundle, you could do your coconut oil infusion, olive oil infusion, and ghee butter infusion with 3 different strains, and you could or even all the same strain, whatever you're feeling. It's really, you can make it happen, make it work just like that, guys. And that is the beauty of infusions. That's the beauty of making your own, having that full control, and really sourcing where your oil comes from or your butter. And I'm curious, do you have a favorite butter or olive oil or coconut oil that you enjoy using? Because at the end of the day, I tend to lean towards, again, high end. And that's always the way I've been. When I even first started smoking, I was like, I'd rather have a gram of some super nice fucking haze than a half ounce of some trash. Like, that's just how I roll. And that's what I try to bring to the infusion space, Mason Pot, TrueBuds TV. And I realize this is a very long-winded video, but I'm just trying to address some very common questions I've gotten, guys. So thanks again for posting up, guys. It's the TrueBuds TV infusion and edible enthusiasts. We ain't new to this. We're breaking it down, infusions around town, with the Mason Pot herbal infuser and decarb kit. Use code TrueBudsTV to grab 10% off. Hook your boy up with a little something on the back end so I can keep investing in oils, content, and other cool shit. And I'll see you guys on the next video.